Delanco Township Committee Meeting of July 22nd, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Delanco Township Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road, Delanco, New Jersey.
There he is. Oh, we do. So. How are you?
I hear. We are recording now.
We're recording? All right, very good. Good evening. Welcome to the July 22nd, 2024 Township Committee Meeting held at 7 o'clock or there so at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road in Delanco. Can I have a roll call, please, Janice?
Ms. Fitzpatrick. Here. Mr. Alette.
Here.
Ms. Seuss. Here. Mr. Templeton is absent, and Mr. Bartlett.
Here. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mr. Fox, our Township Engineer, Mr. Coleman, filling in for Mr. Heinhold as Township Solicitor, Mrs. Lohr, our Municipal Clerk, Mrs. Russell, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, Mr. Fenimore, Superintendent of Public Works, Lieutenant Warren, Police Department, and that is everybody. Will you please rise for the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The sunshine statement, please, Janice.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the January 4th, 2024 editions. Notice of the meeting date change for this meeting was published in the July 3rd, 2024 editions of the Burlington County Times and Courier Post, and written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. Streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the Township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice.
Thank you very much, Janice. First item on the agenda for this evening is a presentation from the Burlington County Joint Insurance Fund regarding the membership renewal. Good evening.
Good evening. Steve Walsh with Park Insurance. I serve as the risk management consultant for Delanco Township. Delanco Township has had their property casualty insurance for many years in the Burlington County Joint Insurance Fund. Membership in the program requires a 3-year commitment. Your 3-year renewal term is coming up this year. With me tonight is Paul Viola with AJ Gallagher. They are the administrator for the Burlington County Joint Insurance Fund. We'll take a few minutes tonight just to update you on the Burlington County Joint Insurance Fund.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, good evening. My name is Paul Viola. I served as the executive director of the Burlington JIT since its formation in 1991. I worked with Roseanne Ramirez back then to start the JIT. Actually, we did a feasibility study here in Burlington County. So I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes on your agenda tonight. And each of you should have a copy of my presentation at your places. And if we just flip over to page 2, talking about new exposures and challenges. These are things we couldn't even anticipate when we started putting our budgets together 2 or 3 years ago. Right now we're facing a very difficult reinsurance market. We use reinsurance and joint insurance fund to protect us from catastrophic claims so that we don't have a run on the bank, so to speak. Just watching the property insurance market right now, seeing 56% increase in that area. Medical cost inflation, you just heard the state health benefits program up 17.2%, being driven by medical inflation there. We've seen about a 9.5% increase over the past 3 years in our medical costs for workers' comp. Wage replacement costs have increased also, 16.7% under workers' compensation in the past 3 years. And then looking down at the recent statutory and regulatory changes, COVID-19 The New Jersey legislature deemed that employees, first responders, police officers, and the like that contracted COVID were deemed to have contracted it on the job, therefore eligible for workers' compensation benefits. That drove up workers' compensation costs of the JIFs around the state to $25 million, about almost $800,000 here in the Delanco JIF. And then something new, workers' compensation reopeners. An employee has up to 2 years to reopen a workers' compensation case after their last medical treatment. And we've seen petitioners' attorneys really start to work this. We've seen a lot of reopeners. We used to see them to this extent. That has cost the statewide just about $145 million. Here in Burlington County alone, an additional $3 million in costs. And then the pension offset, where the state pension decided that workers' compensation on total disabilities would take first crack, and that's also added another $13 million statewide and about $1.1 million in the Delanco JIF. So these are things that just put pressure on the Delanco JIF budget. And then just looking at the police department, it's a really tough job today to be a police officer. It seems as though it's very difficult to take these cases to trial. Here in New Jersey, departments have paid at least $87 million since 2019 to settle allegations and claims against their police officers. So all of these factors do add up. And then flipping over to page 3, talking about this is not just a New Jersey situation. This is a worldwide insurance crisis that's occurring right now. It's affecting personal and commercial insurance. I just saw an article this morning. The average homeowners increase countrywide 35%. In some states, as much as 60% increases. And you know what's happening even if you own a business, your commercial insurance, your automobile insurance. So this has all been driving, and it drives about 46% of our budget across all lines of business, whether it's property, liability, cyber, workers' compensation. And then flipping over to the next page, the property insurance market. You know, the wildfires out west, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, all of these things really started to put pressure on the worldwide reinsurance market. Just last year alone, there were 28 separate $1 billion property loss events in the United States. We've seen the increased cost of labor and materials since COVID and escalating auto repair costs. So these are all things that had an impact on our reinsurance. If you flip over to page 5, I just showed you here a chart that shows the 46% of our budget, about $4.9 million, is what's there to protect us from catastrophic losses, and that has put some pressure on our budget as well. Flipping over to the next page, is the pie chart there, and basically what we're very proud of is the fact that we operate the JIF on less than 10 cents on the dollar. And I think that's a phenomenal operating ratio. Other JIFs not affiliated with the Delanco JIF run at about 20 cents on the dollar. Insurance companies run in the low 30s, 32, 33% on the dollar. The other thing about the JIF, we're not only efficient, but we're also tax exempt because we're a quasi-public agency. So we do have some built-in advantages in our budget. Flipping over to page 7, we've been around since 1991. I was involved in the formation of the JIF back then. It's good to know that we have financial strength as an organization, about $5.5 million of surplus, cash on hand over $14 million. We released almost $14 million in dividends to our members. That's money that would have been insurance company profits if we were an insurance company. This past year, we released $729,000, almost $730,000 in dividends, and then subrogation. When somebody injures one of our employees, whether it's a defective product or somebody damages our equipment, we go after them, we subrogate, and you can see we're getting back on average about $130,000 a year in subrogation. So your total dividends since joining the JIF, $532,000. Just this past year, your dividend equaled about 7% of your premium. Going over to page 8, there are other joint insurance funds out there. And you know, what we like to do is comparison. Their balance sheet, when we look at their competitors, they include significant excess recoverables. That means money that they think they're going to get back from their reinsurers. But some of these are 10 and 12 years old and they're still carrying them on the books. There's no chance you're going to recover those. They discount their reserves, meaning the money they have set aside to pay claims, they anticipate 5, 6, 7% investment income, which is just not going to happen as well. I already mentioned the high administrative fees. They don't declare dividends. As a matter of fact, they often under budget and come back to the members for additional money each year. So there's something that needs to be examined. Going on to page 9, I just talked about the value proposition, the Borough Township, the safety and risk management training that we offer, also the New Jersey Environmental Joint Insurance Fund, the Employment Practices Liability, Public Officials Liability Programs, the Employment Practices Liability Helpline, the Cyber Risk Support, and the Claims Management, which I'll go into detail on another slide. And then just moving over to page 10, the training. I think it's so very, very important, making sure that your managers, supervisors, get trained in hostile work environments, sexual harassment, things of that nature. We trained over 700 managers and supervisors here in Burlington County last year. We do a separate training for police command staff. We had 480 command staff officers come through this past year. We have specialized training for your rank and file employees. We do the elected officials training early each year, and then we also have a special program for your land use board. And then on the other side of the equation, safety. We do on-site loss control visits. We have loss control representatives come out. They don't just count fire extinguishers. They meet with your supervisors. They talk about safety committee meetings, monitoring accidents, looking to do accident reviews, things of that nature. We conduct training right here in Burlington County. We have the Health Safety Institute where your employees can be trained online so that they don't have to leave town to get that training. And we've seen an increase in training this past year of 9%. And if you look at the next page, on page 11, this really is very dramatic. It shows the correlation between the training episodes and the lost time accident frequency. Lost time accidents where an employee is injured so much that they're out of work for a period of time. And so, I like to say that safety pays. Well, this really demonstrates the fact that training does make a difference, and you folks can participate in this program. Turning to page 12, risk management, I say, is like a step beyond safety. We have the TULIP program, which is very valuable. Say an outside organization wants to use one of your facilities to hold a Sweet 16 party, or maybe it's an outside organization that wants to hold some kind of a fundraiser. They need to have their own insurance, and oftentimes they don't. So they can come in, working with Steve Walsh, they can go online, they get a $1 million liability policy for the event, automatically named your town as an additional insured, your certificate of insurance. It's very inexpensive, and you don't need to be involved in it at all. You just give them the website, and it flows through. Certificate of insurance guidelines. You want to make sure that people that are coming that you work for the municipality have proper insurance. We just updated those guidelines. They're online. Obviously, the coverage for somebody that's coming in to paint the building might not require as high a limit as somebody's going to get a community project for you. And then the model indemnification. Contractors, their attorneys put the contract together, they present it to you, and oftentimes they have what's known as a reversal of warranties. It basically says that anything that happens on the job that goes wrong is Delanco's responsibility. We want to make sure that we flip those things around and make sure that the contractor that's going to pay to do the job has proper insurance, and they indemnify you and your employees for any accidents or what they do. Flipping over to page 13, you are a member of the New Jersey Environmental Risk Management Fund. This provides protection and coordinate pollution liability events that may occur. It provides third-party liability coverage, on-site cleaning cost coverage, protects you as public officials. It also provides de minimis abandoned waste site coverage, also your storage tank systems, and we do have engineers that come out, they work with you, they inspect your systems, and provide regulatory guidance so that if, for example, there's a spill in the public works yard, call the 800 number, they come right out. He comes out, they will deal with them, they will assist in that process, and they have a great website as well. And then page 14, Cyber Risk Management Fund. We used to purchase cyber coverage for our members in the commercial market. That became cost prohibitive. It was very difficult to purchase that coverage. Very, very expensive. So a couple of years ago, we had the actuaries do a study on our membership and say, what if we self-funded the cyber liability program? Basically, we have 3 tiers of coverage, actually 4 tiers of coverage. The member really has no protection in place. They don't have firewalls, they don't have passwords. They're going to have a $50,000 deductible, and they're going to pay $60,000 on that $300,000 claim for a total of $110,000. If they simply put in some basic security measures, there's only a $35,000 deductible, If they move up the level to the intermediate security, it's only a $20,000 deductible, and advanced security, there's no deductible at all. I feel like this is really the way to provide that coverage, that the town is doing everything to prevent themselves from being hacked, and have no deductible. And the premiums have remained very, very low because of that. Also, we had a representative or technology or services director who was right here in Burlington County, Jerry Russo. He comes out, works with your IT people to help you come in compliance with these programs. We also do phishing exercises where we try to send emails to your employees and see if we can trick them into clicking on a link. If they do click on that link, they get a 60-second lesson on, hey, this is what you should be looking for next time. You don't have a UPS package waiting for you. And we also do other exercises to try and penetrate your system, see if there's any open portals and what have you. There's a whole variety of programs there that come with your membership. And then on page 15, try as we may, we can't prevent every claim from occurring. We're not working with machine robots, we're working with humans, and accidents do sometimes happen. Transitional duty has been a great program until the doctor says, you know, Bill, we'll come back to work, but with limited duty until I see him again in 3 weeks. So no lifting over 25 pounds. And that allows the employee to come back in, reduces the need for overtime. There's always something you can use an employee for. And we used almost 60% of those days this past year and saved about $121,000 in penalty costs by doing that. We also use a managed care, our own managed care network. It's a network within a network where we choose the best possible physicians in the area, specialists that know exactly how to treat occupational injuries. We feel that spending that money up front saves money in the long run because employees can get better more quickly. We have a great defense panel right here in Burlington County. These are attorneys that are familiar with the local attorney bar, the local venue, and they specialize in defense of public entities, especially in the strong use of Title 59 defenses. As a matter of fact, one of the first things that we did here in Delanco when we joined the joint insurance fund this half year, adopted tort claim notice procedure where somebody's going to bring a suit against Delanco Township. They have to complete this form. It has to be submitted within a certain period of time, and we have copies of that on hand. And many times the defense attorneys have asked for a copy that will show the court that the plaintiff's attorney did not comply with the Title 59 requirements. Page 16, a couple of years ago, I noticed a sharp rise in our auto repair costs, and I talked to the individual that goes out and does our auto body appraisals, and I said, Leo, why are we starting to see this spike? And he said, well, it's a couple of things that happened. Number one, he said, you've got an estimate from a body shop, and say it's going to be $8,000 to complete this repair, and then when it's all done, it's saying an additional bill for $4,000, and say, oh, this is a supplemental. Well, they can't do that anymore. They know, and they've all signed on to this program, that if there's going to be supplemental damages, we have to come back out and inspect it over a certain dollar amount. You also want to make sure that you agree to that price up front. A couple of other examples, let's say your vehicle is damaged. Why not just store it here in your public works yard as opposed to paying storage fees at the body shop? It's a police vehicle, and you have to do the upfit. Why don't we buy that through the state plan where a discount and we don't pay the 25% of charge that the police shops normally charge? So there's several programs in there that have helped to bring down our repair costs. Page 17, the wellness program, I think is very valuable. We know that healthy employees get injured less often, they recover more quickly. We don't have to make surgeries because someone's a smoker or diabetic or what have you. So Debbie Schiffer comes out, she's our wellness director, does a great job conducting webinars, implements these local wellness fairs and things of that nature, and a great monthly newsletter that we share with the employees. Flipping over to page 18, I started to track this several years ago when we started the wellness program. I asked our workers' compensation claims adjusters to please start to track the difference between employees with comorbidities of smoking, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, obesity, versus the employees that did not have those comorbidities. And you can see, just in the upper right-hand corner, the total cost of a workers' compensation claim is 82% higher for those employees with comorbidities. Total indemnity medical cost is over 100% higher. And look at this, the lost time days from the job, 86% longer. So wellness really, it has an impact on workers' compensation, plus it's the right thing to do for your staff. So coming down the home stretch here on page 19, just to let you know, we are flexible, we are efficient, member input is valued. Erin comes to all of the CHIP meetings. Erin Provenzano is there, providing input on behalf of your town. She participates in policy, budget discussions, safety programs, and we always look for feedback from our members. And one recent example, you know, when COVID hit, we had our meetings virtually. As things started to ease up, we said, well, let's start meeting in person again. And the members said, well, can we kind of do hybrid? You know, some meetings in person and some virtually, and we do that. Plus, most of our safety and elected official training sessions are now available online, so your employees are not leaving Delanco to go to their training. So, as the elected officials, as the policymakers here in Delanco Township, please continue to support the CHIP wellness program, transitional duty, the online and in-person safety training, cybersecurity awareness, and even the law enforcement risk management services, where we have an individual now, retired police lieutenant, who did certification for drug name for police accreditation. Comes out, talks to your police chief. You know, let's make sure we have a good defense, make sure the sign-in sheets are there, let's make sure that the policies have been distributed, and it really does go a long way in protecting our officers and allegations are made against them. So I want to thank you so much for being a charter member of the Delanco CHIP. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm happy to entertain any questions that you have.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone have any questions?
No, I'm just glad that we've been a member for as long as we have, and I can see the benefits that we've had through the years. Thanks, Steve, for being our representative there.
Very
Have a
good.
good evening. Let's go to Phillies.
Absolutely, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Steve. All right. Next item on the agenda tonight, we have another presentation, traffic study proposal. Mr. Doherty.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight I have with me Spencer Slack, who's with our Transportation Group at the Million. I'm Hugh Doherty from the Association. I believe in front of you, you have our proposal dated, last revised December 27, 2023. And what this is for is the township-wide traffic study to provide hard data to develop a meaningful circulation element for our master plan. Working with Michelle and the Land Use Board, we're looking to update the master plan. And the Land Use Board has been frustrated over the years because the township continues to develop, and we're developing at a rapid pace. The region around us is also developing at a rapid pace. But the traffic volumes have increased incrementally. So what's happening is, when an application comes before the board, we deal with that application on its own merits. And each applicant submits a traffic impact study, and they show that their impact is minimal. So they might be 1% of the traffic in the area or 10%. And so the improvements are only along their frontage. So there's also things that are outside of our control that are also changing the township and the region. And that includes like the intersection at Route 130 and Creek Road. That intersection is out of our township, out of our control, really, but it impacts us. So we have to take a look at that. And the other thing is traffic patterns have changed over time with COVID. I know Jeff was talking about COVID. The impacts, people are still telecommuting. And so that's reduced some traffic, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. But online shopping has increased. So you have delivery trucks in all the neighborhoods. And we've all seen that, delivery trucks throughout our neighborhoods and on the major roads. So the municipal land use law has a specific definition for circulation. And it states, systems, structures, and physical improvements for movement of people and goods over streets and highways, and the handling of people and goods through terminals, warehouses, and other storage buildings. So the circulation plan would address this specific definition. So basically, the circulation plan basically defines how people and goods are moved throughout Delanco, and how they use our roads, our bikeways, our sidewalks, our bike paths, and things like that. So understanding how this all works together, it's critical for our well-being and quality of life here in Delanco. So the Land Use Board recognizes this, and again, because we're dealing with one application after another that has a traffic impact study that has no impact. They asked us to develop this proposal, which Spencer had helped put together. So, and I'm just going to get into the specifics of the proposal.
I'm sorry, Hugh, do you have a copy of the proposal? Because we don't have that in our packets.
Yeah, it was, I think we got it in 2023, and when I asked to have this put on the agenda, I did not include that, but I remember the proposal was for $25,000,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yes.
And I do want to add why I asked Hugh and the Joint Land Use Board to attend this meeting with this presentation. If you recall, a few months ago, the county sent out, they received an award for a grant, actually, from DVRPC. It's a regional vision, and they're asking each township to submit their plan for traffic or problems in the community or what have you. And the form that you fill out is actually a document that you would upload for this particular thing, a traffic study, which would help Delanco show the county that we do have issues and that hopefully they can resolve them. And to me, this is a very important part of this grant that they're going to have, because our study can be a part of their grant that maybe then they'll take us serious instead of saying, well, wait till all the, the warehouses are complete and they have occupants and the traffic lights, there's not enough traffic. So to me, all those issues are an important part of the study that I hope that you do. So, and take into consideration maybe some of the police reports so that we can upload one document to the county to show them that we've done our homework and Delanco needs their help in correcting some of these issues, because a lot of them are on the county roads that we have no control over. So that was my hope, Hugh, that you can help us with, and that's why I feel that this study is imperative, not just for the Joint Land Use Board, but for Delanco, period, all of us, because we're all affected by it. The residents, the businesses, the police. So it's not just a tool for the Joint Land Use Board, it's a tool for this township to submit to the county and say, we've done our homework, or we need your help, let's get something done. So that's kind of like my little spiel. I think it's important.
Right, and I agree. And that's why this is would contribute to the circulation element of the master plan, which would be township-wide. And I think that's what the board was looking at, the land use board, is have a township-wide study. So we would include traffic counts. The specific thing with the safe streets for all that the county looked for information for, we would be able to collect crash information, that's what they're looking for, fatalities, to try to have 0 fatalities, and we would provide that to the county for sure. But that would be part of our study, and that was one of the scope tasks. We're also going to put counters out, 4 different counters throughout town to get current traffic counts. We're going to observe 10 intersections, and an intersection can be 2 roads, or it can be a driveway in a major thoroughfare. For instance, the Federal Express driveway coming down on the Creek Road would be a good intersection to look at, and to look at shift changes, how much traffic we're generating in a specific time period. And then, again, we would request the traffic crash data, pass that on to the county and DVRPC, and then also looking at the traffic signal plans to see if there's a timing issue in town that we could possibly work with the county and get the traffic lights improved. And I know we did have in our proposal, and I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I don't have extra copies. I don't think you will, but I might certainly can shoot that over. I mean, I don't need to have a copy too, right? Or I can shoot it to you. Okay, so I'll shoot it to you. But it is, pardon me? Yeah, okay.
And it's the same with those in the budget.
We
packet,
have
correct?
We have it
Okay,
because Lori
Okay.
and Ann came and presented the budget when we did our
Gotcha.
budget. So we
Alright.
all received a
So
copy
we're
of
talking about the
it.
same proposal?
Yes, same.
Okay.
The same proposal. It's just now they're here to present it. Right.
But the idea, the overall idea would be is that we would present recommendations so that we would have specific remedies. So as applicants, so not only from the township standpoint, but as applicants come before the board, we would have capital projects, potentially listed, maybe it's a widening or left-hand turn lane or an additional bikeway, and we could have the applicants submit their pro rata share for that improvement. So if it's an off-track improvement, but they are now, we can define, hey, you're contributing so much traffic to that location, you will pay X dollars. So it's an idea that we would have these capital projects, possibly agreeing for the township to fund, but also have applicants to fund.
How can we enforce that, though, if these are all county roads?
Well, that's what we would look for, to see where the properties are, and then we would have to go, we would have to work.
Literally, well, except for our residential roads, all of our main roads are county roads. So,
Right, but in each one of our applications, I mean, you know, people come out and they say, well, we have traffic issues, I can't get out of my neighborhood, I can't get out of my driveway. So they're the types of things we would want to look at to see how we could improve overall flow. But we would need county, you know, even DVRBC, but, you know, potentially for grants and things like that. Because I know under that safe routes for all, townships could get some of that grant as well, look at the internal as well. But that's really geared more toward fatalities. We want to eliminate fatalities.
And we would identify crash clusters anywhere where we have, you know, groupings of crashes, whether they've been also pedestrian crashes, because they're typically end up with injury. And I see that we put 173 crashes in the township over the last 2 years, give or take. And 40, some of them had injuries. Like, we looked at the New Jersey voyager.
it sounds high.
Yeah, but we request specific crash reports.
And I'll have, I'm sure Adam sent some things to me, and I had followed up with an email today because for some reason it's lost in cyberspace, that email, but he does have reports that when I would send them to you once this is approved, so that I would imagine you would include that data in your report. I think it would all be included in one. Yes, that's what I would think.
And we also then have access to the traffic impact studies that were submitted for each application. We would even view those as part of this study. So that's what the board wanted to look at, a comprehensive township-wide look as opposed to this application. Each application pretends to just use that traffic impact study for that application.
Right.
Hugh, let me ask, and this may be part of what you're going to be presenting, how would that help when we have 3 vacant warehouses that aren't having any traffic as of yet? Are you just going to use the same data that they provided? Also, we're not, I don't know about anyone else on this committee, but are we hearing anything from residents that they're having trouble getting out of their neighborhoods at this point, where, you know, a traffic study is needed?
That's my concern with the county roads, that the county has jurisdiction over what happens there, and to do the study is probably a good thing on the one hand, but where it goes, does it just sit on the shelf because the county is doing their study? The traffic reports or accidents are going to the county. They're well aware of what happens on the county roads. So, and we only have one traffic light in town.
And all of our major roads are county roads.
All
Yeah.
county roads.
I mean, we can't even get the county to fix stupid issues like the flooding over the bridge, which we've been dealing with for years. So I don't have any faith that they're going to do anything with this report, but put it on the shelf, kind of like we did with the other plan. That's just sitting on a shelf somewhere at the state.
I kind of disagree because I think, number one, this would benefit the Joint Land Use Board, as Hugh had indicated, with each individual application that they have to deal with, instead of someone coming in with their traffic study, which is always to their benefit. As long as I've been on the township committee, they always have a traffic study that's always to benefit whoever it is that's coming in with a proposal. So it would benefit them, but to me, this study will also show the county, since the county is opening this up to all the municipalities, and I don't know how many municipalities you've done traffic studies for, if you've done any other municipalities in the area, but This is a document from Delanco saying, this is a problem, this county road is a problem to us, and this is why. For me, I mean, I do, correspond with the county engineer's office. I meet with them. I've met with them all over many different roads to find lighting or traffic or entrances. Newton's Landing is a big example. And I just feel that this document is better than me meeting a representative from the county and walking an area and show them the lighting or the entrance, that I'm hoping that will cement all the problems we have in town, to show them, hey, these exist, and they exist not just on the roads in Delanco, they exist on the roads in Delanco that the county owns. That's what their study's for. So we need to show them that these roads are a problem, and they can correct it.
But will they correct it? That's the issue.
Well,
Will
the
they?
issue is, why would they be doing this survey I can't imagine that if enough people come forward, enough towns come forward and say, we did our homework, this is going to help you with your grant to see the problems in the county. And there are several problems in the county. A lot of them could be just road repair, but traffic signals, traffic lights. We could use another light in this town. And I think if you do that survey, you'll see that. I just feel it's a necessity, not just for the Joint Land Use Board, but for the town as a whole, to prove to the county that, we're tired of just submitting complaints and nothing being done. Let's do it. If you're going to get this grant and go through all the towns, then let's do something about it. I feel that it's beneficial. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am in this particular case.
Let's let
One of the
you
things that we
continue.
could do is, for instance, on a county road, suggest that we get additional right-of-way to make improvement for potential widening eventually. Or if the county's not receptive to right-of-way, we would take easement, because we would have that control over that property in an easement along the frontage for a bike lane or for a road widening or for a decel lane. So those are the type of things that we could plan for without necessarily having the county be involved or, approving that. But,
Do we know
in the long run,
it's a
we
county
want
road?
the county.
Yeah.
It's a county
It's a county
road.
road,
We have to have
Right,
it.
right, well, in other words, it's an easement on the property that abuts a county road. So we would have easement available that's not buildable. I mean, it's a planning guide.
Do we-
Easement.
Do we know what the width of the right-of-way is now? If that would even benefit if the right-of-way is,
Yeah, that's part of what we look at.
I mean, if you look at the tax map, I don't need a $25,000 study to say the right-of-way width of Creek Road is 80 feet wide, and they've only had it opened to an approved 50-foot wide.
Right, but you may look to have improved, for instance, a bike lane along that route. So then you would need that additional bike lane. So even though you have that, and you're right, we would start with the tax map. But then is there more land? If we start to develop some of these properties, we would get another 10, 15 feet of easement for pedestrian walkway or, like I said, the widening.
I mean, just for a simple one, right over here on
Yeah.
Coopertown Road, we want to
Sidewalk.
put a sidewalk in, but we can't acquire an easement from the property owner. Is it just between the railroad and
Newton's Landing.
Newton's Landing, and they won't do an easement. So
Right.
how does that help? If, we're going to pursue eminent domain on property owners? We could. Do we have that money?
But I think if it's a county road and the county has the easement, could they enlarge the easement? Would they, I don't know, I don't know how we could actually get access to put a sidewalk there without doing some kind of eminent domain proceeding.
I'm hearing
Right.
county
If
road,
somebody's
county
not before
road.
the
Why isn't the
joint-
county funding this?
But if somebody's not before the Joint Land Use Board, then we wouldn't be able to get the easement without
Right.
the eminent domain. But if somebody's before the board, and that's the whole point, if somebody's before the board, we can get that easement. We can get, all the surrounding easements, and then have whoever the holdout is, either work on that or wait until that property sells.
So that's what I'm thinking. If somebody's going to sell their property and they decide they want to, because there's a couple properties have a significant land, maybe like, a few acres, and they sell it and they want to put townhouses or something there, and they would come before the Joint Land Use Board, and we could say, well, guess what? you need a sidewalk in front of your property then. So they would have to, I mean, that in itself would help with 3 of the properties.
It's just a couple houses, that's really what it is. It's not even, it's not a large
I still
lot.
think that the traffic studies, especially from Creek Road, and on Burlington Avenue, I think sometimes in some places, depending upon if the bridge is closing, people can't get out of their driveways on Burlington Avenue. It's still a county road, but there are issues. And there are issues, and of course, the jug handle out there, that's a state, I'm trying to
Right.
deal with the state on that issue. I just followed up with an email today.
Right.
But, and
The
I-
DOT issue is an issue all over down in
It is.
Lawrence.
That's
Yeah.
a mess.
all over there. And we've been petitioning DOT to do a study in that area, and I believe they have started a study. Then we would want to bring it down this far to look at the jug handle there.
I mean, they've had all these intersections under construction with new traffic lights, God, the last 8 years now, and it looks like they're just sitting there. The lights have been bagged up, the signs have been bagged, partial work done on sidewalks and curbs, all up and down Route 130, all the way from Burlington City, all the way to Edgewater Park, north end of Burlington City to Edgewater Park, just sitting there.
I do know that there's supply chain issues in a lot of cases. There might be something, another issue.
It's been years.
have you done these studies for other communities in the area?
Yes, yeah, we have. And we do traffic studies for, individual sites, but as well as the township park. Our traffic department is involved.
And have they found them to be, beneficial to not just the joint land use board, but for any other use? Mostly it would be joint land use board, I guess, but,
Well, it's a master plan, so it's the master plan that really covers what this council would be looking for. So, certainly, the circulation element includes the bikeways, and that's something that post-COVID, more people are out on bicycles,
Yes.
using the pedestrian
Walking.
things like that, which we don't have a lot of, quite frankly. So that you would look at, that the master plan would link those areas. So wherever we can get right of way, or wherever we can make improvements, we would do it based on the master plan.
So what roadways are we talking about that would be a part of this traffic study?
Well, that's what we would sit down and go through with the land use board and the council, and just really work out where we want to put it. And even the 4 traffic counters, we look at which roadways we really want to focus on. We haven't really designated anything at the moment.
No, so it would be a coordination. It's kind of to identify, you guys are more familiar with the area than we are, right off the bat. So identifying areas of concern to you guys, and then collect data based on those.
Is 4 traffic counters enough?
We thought it was.
We have 4 ATRs, which are going to collect a week's worth of data, collect volume, speed, and class. So they're going to be primarily on the major roadways. We've got 10 intersection traffic counts, which we assume to be 6 hours to cover an AM, and a PM, peak period, at up to 10 locations, which are going to be able to turn into counts, pedestrian activity, and bike activity. The 4 ATRs, which kind of get, really, you kind of put in the outskirts of the township, trying to figure out what the volumes are coming into the township from that side.
And we do have traffic studies from the applicant today presented.
And there are a couple on the DOT website that were done last year. We use those as a supplemental.
Just for example, I think we know for a fact that a major intersection in town where we have a lot of traffic incidents. Lieutenant Warren, correct me if I'm wrong, Burlington Avenue and Union, or Burlington and Walnut, right there. I could tell you in the last 6 months, we've probably had at least 1 per month right at that intersection. So, only because I've been out there. And let's just say your traffic study includes that. What would the traffic study recommend? I'm not going to tell you to give me the recommendation right now, but what's the traffic study going to recommend? Put a traffic signal there, or?
We would run through the METCD warrants for a monthly waste stop and traffic. And basically, we're saying the warrant, based on the volumes and crashes,
Right.
run through the warrants, develop a recommendation, and then present that as part of the round.
I guess the issue too would be, for example, those 4-way stops, the signage already there. So again, the other issue you brought up, as far as the road, it's a county road.
Right.
So they're not gonna put a light at Walnut and Burlington Avenue or Walnut and Union. There's already signage there before we stop. Because a lot of it comes to operator error. Right? And the study is not gonna change operator error.
Recommend rumble strips, which may not be good in the residential area, but
But you normally don't put them in the residential area,
yeah,
right?
but you,
So-
I mean, we could try and come up with some, additional sign or some
Here.
pavement markings that could make a sign. And again, if you're looking for more stop sign, you're looking for more stop sign.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can try and bring, enhance the sign and striping, try and, get people to pay.
But again, though, the issue, as Mayor Bartlett mentioned, that would be upon the county to facilitate that.
Right.
Which they're not doing.
I mean,
So we need a willing participant in the county to be able to facilitate that.
Well, if we show them a study that indicates that they should be doing something more than they're doing, then I don't know how they can just stick their nose up to it, excuse me. But I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do in addition to the master plan and giving the Joint Land Use Board a tool, for.
And I thought the major issue originally was Coopertown.
No, this
Right.
is for the, I mean, I think there are several areas in town that need to be addressed. And,
Oh, you mean at the warehouses? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge concern, and I am concerned that they're vacant. I know you're gonna base it on what they were allowed to have essentially, what was approved for, so, I mean, I guess we can gauge it off of that, but
because the traffic is going to increase, and we don't know what else is going to happen with the other businesses in our industrial area, because they could change, and it could be more flow or less flow, we don't know, so it's something that you just anticipate. But, I mean, it's probably something that should have been done years ago, and it wasn't, but, I mean, if we can do it now, and it can help us in the future, I don't know, I think it's a win-win for Delanco Township if we do it.
Right, and some of the things that we have looked at in the past is reduce speed limits. So we've actually done studies and we've got county approval to reduce the speed limits on county road. We've done traffic calming where we narrow down the lanes and create that, closed-in feeling where cars actually naturally slow down before stop sign. We've done the larger stop signs, we've done the solar power, blinking stop signs. Those type of things have been effective. And it's a combination of things. It could be sight distance at an intersection where there's accidents, not only speed or ignoring a stop sign, but it might be a sight distance issue if somebody didn't see another vehicle. And, they're gonna coast through, but they saw a vehicle, they wouldn't have coasted, they probably would have stopped. So they're the type of things that we would try to look at and see why, for instance, if you got the crash data, why is it happening? Is it consistent, same leg of the intersection, maybe there is a sight distance issue?
Yeah.
I think everything you're saying is great, and I think it would provide valuable data. My whole thing is I don't want to say I have no faith in Burlington County. Actually, yeah, I do want to say that. I have zero faith in Burlington County traffic engineering. Going back to my example with the bridge, with it being us having to close the Burlington Avenue Bridge over Rancocas Creek due to flooding, their solution was put up advanced warning signs. Sounds like a great idea, doesn't fix the problem, sounds like a great idea. Their positioning of advanced warning signs are one right before the bridge at Lou's Deli and the other one right before the bend. So all the traffic turns into the residential neighborhood, which is exactly what we didn't want them to do. We said you need to put one before the intersection of Cooper Street and Burlington Avenue so cars can make a left down Coopertown to get out to Route 130. But the geniuses at Burlington County put them at the bend over by the church and behind a tree over across from Lou's Deli. And they did the same thing in Riverside. They put it after you get past the watch case building. So that's where my lack of faith in Burlington County comes in. And I did ask them, can you put one up further on each side, in Riverside and Delanco? And they said they would have to look into that to see if they could do that with the telemetry between the different units. So I would have thought before spending, I'm going to say $50,000, whatever those things cost them, they would have actually done a study and figured out what was needed before you put it in. That's, you know, with my serial box engineering degree, I think that's how you do studies.
Or just ask them.
Well, I mean,
Or just ask the people. They didn't even communicate with us.
Yeah.
But this study could help us to have that improved. I don't know. I don't know what else I can say I don't know if anybody from the public wants to add any comments, but do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, yeah,
Hugh?
please. You haven't said a word, so he could, if you have anything you want to
I'll
add.
answer questions if there are any questions.
Okay.
We do have a good rapport with the county engineer, so, I mean, if that helps. And they have, in presenting them information or a study, for instance, we've done traffic counts that show speeds and got speed limit reductions. We have done speed tables where, you know, that basically traffic calming measure, we've gotten them to the county. So, it is possible, but they do look for backup, you know, the actual study information to make some of those changes. And the changes that you're suggesting for the signage, I mean, that could be something that we could recommend. That kind of goes really down into specifics. The master plan is really more global, you know, what's coming into town, what's leaving town, what's generated in town, and what is the vacant. So, but then in the long run, if we have all these other issues, that's something that we could ultimately do. That's all we had. I mean, it was just, you know, land use board. I'm sure you're on behalf of land use board who asked me to put this proposal together to, you know, curb their frustration on having approved, and the board has to approve a lot of these applications before the traffic impact truly is negligible from a particular site. It's globally is where the issue is, and the cumulative effect starts to go up for all of the issues. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Hugh. You said you're going to send
Yeah.
electronic to Beverly?
Yes, I will.
Beverly, make sure I get a copy of that, please, forward. Thank you.
So procedurally, do we want to wait till we all have copies of that proposal, then at our next meeting in 2 weeks, we can take a vote on that?
I have to,
Proceeding?
yeah, I'm going to ask the county for an extension. But if it's approved, Hugh, how long will it take?
Yeah. We would want to sit down, and it would be it's not going to be an overnight study, that's for sure.
No, I didn't
I
think
hope
so.
not for 25
But
minutes.
I would need to have so that I can give the county the information that I would need an extension on our submission.
And realistically, this is not the best time for your facing traffic counts.
Yeah, because,
Not getting your normal
Vacations,
traffic.
school buses.
Yeah, correct.
so it wouldn't start till maybe September?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
What's the due date on the,
July 31st,
Oh.
but I would ask for an extension
week.
until October something.
yeah,
And there's no reason why they wouldn't give it, because I did ask them, and they said they would give an extension if I needed it. So, I'm not worried about that. Actually, I would email Dave and ask him about that, and I would say maybe October 31st. Could we have it by then, if it was approved?
Right, even if we came up with some of the things we wanted to be addressed within that, we could fast track some recommendations we want to include, still delivering the overall report at a later date. We could fast track the document to include.
Right, because most of the issues, in addition to what you would be doing for the master plan, but most of the issues, to me, that would go to the county, are on county roads.
Right.
That really are for their, you know, for them to see that these are the issues Delanco has with your roads. But thank you. And I think maybe Lori, or I don't know if Lori wants to add anything to this presentation?
No, I was just gonna, talk about the delay of starting the study because of September and going back to school and things like that need to be included in the overall. But as Hugh said, you know, I've been on the Joint Land Use Board for many years, and what happens when a development comes in, as anybody who's sat in on our board meetings, they present a traffic study that shows that they're not detrimental to the level of service in any of the roads, and as you said, we really have no recourse but to approve their applications when you know cumulatively, like you're saying with the warehouses, they're not even occupied yet. What's that gonna look like? We're already having problems.
Right.
So, and we've all, I think, decided that we should have done this study years ago, but we haven't. So
Right.
here we are. Either we can keep letting these things accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and get worse, or we can establish that baseline now and then have this tool, this document to go to other agencies, either get grant money, either ask applicants to contribute to improvements, or to go to the county and say, we really do have issues,
Yeah.
and these need to be resolved. And they may just put it on the shelf, but it's up to us then to continue to follow through on these things until things get addressed.
Exactly.
Otherwise, nothing's gonna get done, and it's just gonna continue to get worse and worse and worse, and I don't think any of us want that.
Right.
So I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank
Lori.
you.
And Lori, my frustration isn't with the county as a whole. So your department,
Oh, no, I
Ann's
know.
department, just county engineering.
Your solid waste collection or disposal is okay, right? Your recycling is.
Yes, recycling and trash, great. And,
I've been for almost 40 years, and the commissioners will respond if you hand them a document that says, your engineer's wrong, here is the proof, get some press on it, and it legitimizes your concerns. But
Yes.
you've got to go through the steps, otherwise it's just a committee person's word against the county engineer. Benoni certainly has a phenomenal reputation, the county
sure.
is using for the projects. It gives the document to go to the county and say, enough is enough, we have to address this. So, go to war.
Yes.
That's it, what you need to do.
thank you, Ann.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ann.
very much, and thank you to the other members of the planning board. I see Bill and Carl out there this evening as well. We'll look forward to discussing it, make a decision on the next meeting, which is August 5th?
Fifth,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
okay,
Well, it's
good.
August
And
already,
then,
but
so
yeah.
I will talk to the county and make sure I can have an extension till October 31st.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Hugh, thanks.
You're more than welcome to stay. You don't have to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann and Lori, for coming out.
Thank you. All right, meeting is now open to the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 1. If you have a comment or question, please approach the podium, give your name and address for the record, and there will be another public comment session later on this evening. Meeting's open to the public. Looking at you, Ray. Nothing?
You're kidding.
Wow. The Phillies are going to win the pennant, too. Jeez. All right.
Okay, all right.
Anybody else? All right, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. And again, there'll be one later on. Let's go to comments and reports from the professionals. Let's start with, to my right, Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll bring you up to date on our various projects. The 2023 road program. The 2023 road program, that Earl paving, did over the past several months. They did come out and start a bunch of this work. They have completed it, and there's another section that I had the rest of the meeting. And third, but they did start a bunch of this work. The parking lot and field in Iowa. Contractor for his punch list work. He's basically these guys just touch up on striking, and also have to be strike, loose landing, and lose edge. But other than that, that's all complete. We did have the speed bumps installed, install speed bumps.
Yep, saw that.
They had that came out well. We had a couple blocks in, and then we just did the sign.
Excuse me, Harry, with the parking lot here, right out front, the door, we have a handicap spot, and then we have the wheel stop, and currently we have an orange cone that's there so people don't trip coming into the building. Is that gonna be a permanent fixture, having a cone there, or is there another solution?
I don't know what kind is there.
It's, I think, prevent people from tripping, coming into the building.
I think that cone was there before they put the bumpers back out.
Yeah, I
They-
think-
when the,
I think it's just
when
was
the
left.
rebar was just sticking out of the ground.
I think it was
the
just
bumpers.
left.
Yeah, I think someone just needs to pick it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
And I think Public Works is gonna paint the lines on the curbs, now that they had that snazzy new paint
Yes.
job.
He's going out there right now.
Welcome.
You're being Picasso tomorrow.
You're gonna paint the lines outside.
Right after we get all the brush up,
Yeah, no rush.
and that might take till August.
Yeah.
Assuming we get no more storms.
This is Zipwork project, Seawall project. I'm sure everyone has seen progress on that. That's moving along quite well, ahead of schedule. The vinyl sheet piles are, I thought they were going to finish today, they didn't finish up today. I got 2 more feet of the vinyl building. Then on the south end, as you may recall, we're putting in aluminum sheet piles. And that is to get a little bit more armor from the effects coming up the river. That's what really has the most protective damage area. That aluminum is supposed to be delivered on Thursday. It's aluminum sheet pile. So that will start to get down, finish the vinyl, start with aluminum, and fix all the red and asphalt, and third, well, that's
Were they out there today? Because it looks like it's left at the same place where it was.
Yeah, they were out there and decided not to do much. They did some cleanup work. Their main operator, I don't know who you said, but their main operator is not there. So they did some layout setup work.
We'll give them a break because they did bust their butts in 100-degree weather over the last week and a half working out there nonstop. They're better than I could. I definitely wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, that was kind of ironic because today was the nicest.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know.
Harry, just a quick question. The pilings that are not like level, are they gonna cut them so that they're all one height or? Okay.
Yeah, the round piles?
Yeah, just like where they, there's like some are 6 inches higher than the actual vinyl.
The actual pile, that all gets cut even.
Okay.
That's what concrete cap.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Next up, thanks.
Also, the Zipwork drainage pipe. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but there's a drainage pipe that comes from Zipwork Mansion from the stairwell.
Right.
Right.
It runs south and cuts across through our property, park property, and discharges out to the river. It's an old terracotta pipe. The end of it is somebody put this piece of PVC in and trying to keep working. When we expose that, the pipe is in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
So I said contractor to replace the pipe with PVC all the way up to the sidewalk. That is a 10-inch PVC pipe, and on the end of it, we're going to put a check valve to stop the flood water from going out in direction. But we did replace all that pipe, so in the future, there won't be any issue.
Good.
For the fire. The additional cost was about $5,000. We had the $10,000 allowance built into the contract for specifically this or finding another pipe. So we're good to go with that.
Good.
And that has been installed.
That other PVC pipe that's ground level, it's like 8 inches, is that for the drainage basins that you're putting there? There's a brand new PVC pipe
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes out about 15 feet from the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be cut shorter, then we're going to put some little riprap
Yeah.
out there.
And it's on the actual dirt. It's on the ground of the riverbed.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Great.
The Delaware Ag, that's on the agenda tonight, resolution awarding the proposal to Ford Construction for 719 Delaware. That's the storm pipe that there's a big piece of concrete in there amongst several other pieces of bridge we can't feel what they are, flattening that pipe. This contractor needs to remove that entire pipe from the inlet on the street out to the concrete head wall down there. The homeowner's head wall. So that would be a whole brand new pipe that's put in. And what the issue is out there, it's rainwater. It's not backing up flood tides. The flood tide is never getting that high. Even one of the big ones we had wasn't enough to flood that high. However, the rainwater, that takes Second Street and Delaware, there's several blocks into that pipe. The pipe is basically pot and came. So it's rainwater that's it does not actually get into above the sidewalk area of the homeowners, because the height of the curb, the overflow curb, will run out the river, like rainstorm. So it does flood almost every rainstorm, I believe, but it's not really a danger to the house, per se. But it is scheduled if this is approved tonight. I spoke with the contractor, and he indicated he would be out there by the end of this week. Realistically, with the rain coming, I would say more like Monday.
Yeah.
To be more realistic, but he would be out there within next week to place that pipe.
Great.
And you're gonna contact property owner and the son, right?
Yes, I will stop, actually, I'm gonna stop by tomorrow and speak to the property owner, and I'll also call her son to kind of mediate, and let them know.
Good.
They knew this was coming, but they had no idea when.
Right.
The creek, well, the Village Dreams sports lighting, that's going very well as well. The trenching is all done, that's completed, from where the panels are going to go to all the light poles, for field 2, and there's also additional conduit to service field 1 in the future. So we don't want to dig anything else up except the back portion of field 1. That's an agenda plan as well, so change order and the agenda.
Right.
To install that extra conduit. And that's all they are going to, contractor spoke to the construction department, and they're digging their holes tomorrow for the headlights going as there's concrete piers. They go like 14 feet deep in the ground and another 6 feet out of the ground. They're going to dig the holes tomorrow. They're being delivered on Wednesday, must have put in the actual concrete holes Wednesday.
Oh, they're prefabs.
Prefabs.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. So then they're going to set that in place on Wednesday. How it works is it's 30-inch hole that they set these in and then they fill concrete around it. That's going to depend on the construction department on inspection wise, whether they can start backfilling the concrete on Wednesday or they're going to go Thursday. But at the latest, it'll all be backfilled Thursday. Concrete. So everything will be sealed in, ready to go, and just waiting for us to send stones.
Good.
So once they dig those holes, they're gonna put like plywood over them so nobody can fall in?
Yes, yes. Absolutely. We're going to cover up with plywood.
I mean, it's closed off, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And I actually directly request, Basil to put asset control out there for the next couple of days. Because they're pretty big holes, and they will be covered up.
But, so they are putting something on top of them or no?
Yes, they will do something on top.
Okay, they agreed in the meeting that, remember, they were gonna put,
Yep, they're gonna cover them up, yep, not a problem.
all right.
It's, and, I mean, I don't anticipate any going out there. It's not like they're gonna get in the road, but.
Right, you never know. Okay.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Maybe we should keep the parking lot lights on.
Yeah.
Say it again?
We keep the parking lot lights on, maybe? We have the capability to do that, just to have extra lighting out there.
If you want Why not? Absolutely.
I don't know why they'd be out there at night.
Because we keep the lights off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be from tomorrow to Thursday, and
Yeah.
then we have no worries after that.
Right, okay, sounds good.
The 2023 CDBG grant for the handicap ramps, that contractor did come out and do his bunch of this work as well. We finished that yesterday, and I had not had a chance to personally look at it. My inspector looked at it, and took the pay for how to look at it. So I will be out there this week to make sure that it's satisfactory. They did make changes. Then replaced a couple of ramps, and they were all slopes together.
Oh, they were awful.
Do we want to hold that check until you
Yeah.
get out there personally and look at it?
Well, we have enough money on retainage.
Retainage, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good.
So
Okay.
we're okay with that.
Okay.
We'll have all. And the 200 Ash Street HDSR grant, we received an email Thursday from DEP indicating that they have all information in the done that review, and they want to give us a report on Friday, which I have not received yet. So I wrote another email today that said I have a meeting tonight. Can you give me some kind of update? And I still haven't heard. But it's on the desk. They're supposed to have something by Friday.
Well, it's something.
Yeah, at least I have something in email in writing stating that.
Yeah. Signs of life.
It's not exactly.
Right.
They're backlog there.
I know.
And that's all I have.
All right. The stormwater pollution prevention plan, there were some emails going back and forth last week as far as the status of it. I guess the DEP was asking that.
Yes, I had some time to that, and he was out today. I'll check with him tomorrow, but they are on top of that tomorrow to get that to the state.
Do we know if it was completed or were there still?
The SPP was, I'm gonna say about 90% complete.
Okay.
And then it fell in the cracks.
All right.
So they'll pick it up on that and contact us.
Also, Harry, when do we decide on the handicap ramps for the next year's grant so we can get that moving? How do you want to proceed on that?
Yeah, I could meet with whoever would like to be involved with that, anytime this, well, I don't know if it's possible tomorrow or not, that's short notice, but I can meet this week, and to go to work.
If you just, send out a list of the potentials.
I'll do that.
All right, send that out, then we can say whether or not anyone, that's what we did last time, said, this will be what we could afford, but here's some alternatives, so we substituted. But you have that list so we know where we're starting from.
Yeah, I'll send you a recommendation.
Okay.
Recommendation, and then.
So we just drive and look at them and see what we think, John, everybody.
All right, so the August 5th meeting, hopefully you can make a final decision.
Yep.
Get that going if you get your proposals in like you're gonna do for the road stuff, all for that meeting the 5th. Because that's a repetitive kind of thing, there's nothing new with the CDB grant thing, so you can get that rolling, so we don't run into problems again.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Jim McHugh had sent an email about the irrigation needed between fields 3 and 4. I think you were on that. About adding the zone. He's going to take a look at if there's existing wiring that he can tap into, and he's going to give us pricing on that. If there's something he can install or not. He can do it, it's just what the cost will be if there's existing wiring or not. So he's just going to let us know. Is that something you agree with, that there's needed there?
It was never put in because it was between two fields and that wasn't like they would create a whole area. But if you want to make everything consistent, it's certainly.
It's clearly bothering him, so.
It is.
Yeah, because there's.
You should just do it then if it's bothering you, right?
Yeah.
That's the brilliant thing that bothers them, that's important.
Yeah, he sent a couple emails, and I saw Carolyn's reply. Phil asked him too. Phil asked him
Yeah,
to.
he replied directly to Phil and didn't copy us.
Oh, I got the
So,
copy.
yeah.
I did get the copy that Phil.
So he's gonna get pricing for us.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's the thing, if he can tie into the existing wire
Yeah.
and the pipe, it won't be a big deal.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
can't, it's gotta run all the way back on the control panel.
Yeah,
That's a big
it's
deal.
gonna cost a couple $1,000.
Well, the trencher's out there already, maybe Bob Electric could do that for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is it worth it if it's gonna be, 5, 6 grand? No, probably
I
not.
would say no.
No.
Talking
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, that field, it looks better than I've ever seen it out. I'm sure the guys from rec sitting at the back
Especially-
probably
especially in
agree.
July.
I know, it's,
Yeah.
it's green, it's
Yeah.
green as is green on my bottle there, I've
Tim's
never,
a tremendous, Tim's been a tremendous help. He was
Yes.
on the record. He was out there.
Fix things right
Myself,
away.
the electrician, and finding things, fixing things, and working together, and he's available at a moment's call.
Yeah,
So locally.
Yeah.
and he actually cares, like he's taking pride in it, so that's
Yes.
nice.
Likewise, Karen.
if we remember what that looked like 1 year ago.
Oh,
It was
Yeah.
brown and yellow, and
Crop
it was
circles.
dead.
It had
Yeah,
crop
circles from the sprinkler heads.
Don't forget we have a new well there that we didn't have a
We
year
do
ago.
have a new well, and that has helped tremendously.
It's not
I
like
mean,
give
we
Jim all the
can't-
credit, but
It's
still he
not all
does great.
Jim, but Jim has taken.
Take the credit away from poor Jim.
Yeah.
Poor Dave
You guys
Wilson.
spent a lot of money, so let's,
Yeah, well,
but Jim's gonna keep it up. He really cares, he's
He
responsible, and
does.
he cares
He's
what a difference.
local, and he's doing a great job.
helping to get those trees watered.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Harry. All right, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing specific, I'll defer to Mr. Heinold. I did just want to add something with respect to your traffic study. I know you kind of discussed that fairly thoroughly. I represented the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission for a number of years, and I would encourage you to get in touch with Tom Stanakinis, like, immediately.
Yeah, he sent the email out.
Tom's a wonderful advocate for the county towns. This year are all the Pennsylvania towns and counties that are getting funded through the TIP projects. Next year is New Jersey. So Tom's running around through the county right now and collecting applications. There's a whole host of money at the DVRPC that comes through the state and federal government that goes unused every year because the project's gone. So he may be a really good advocate, and you may have this money already budgeted, but I'd love to see you get reimbursed for your expenditure, so.
I'll have to ask him,
I'd love to see that too.
because he's
Yeah.
on this email that I have to.
He should be the guy you talk to.
Okay, I will, I'll ask him.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom, that's good, yeah.
All right, Township Administrator, Mr. Schwab.
Thank you. Let me just move this other stuff out of the way. First we've got our assessor has been sending out the new assessor's, his report, and he and the co-assessor, as you were, are working together, and they're meeting with our former assessor to update the pilot stuff, working with Doug on the new pilot stuff coming through, so they're working together. Interestingly, the JIF rep talked about the State Health Benefits Commission increase, just showing that things are going up, and he pointed out that rate increases for local government active employees will be about a 16% increase coming up next year. There's all sorts of other stuff that are being discussed to try to hold that down, but we probably need to get our nose back into looking at the Southern New Jersey Employee Benefit Fund as an alternative. Last time what they gave us was incomplete, and we weren't able to really show that there was a benefit, and we were in the middle of negotiating. We need to have their people come and prove to our employees that it's equal or better before you start jumping. A lot of towns have just did it, and their unions, associations let it go. Our people were saying, well, can at least somebody come out and talk to us about it? So we'd like to be able to do that. So it's something I got to work on this summer to see if we can't move on. Remember, it's once you move, you're done. So that's the problem.
There was a
Move to them.
23% increase last year.
Yep, so
Yeah, so it's 17.
keeps going up,
I
keeps going
saw
up.
17.2 there.
The other thing is in addition, what I emailed you in addition to what the mayor talked to Harry about with sending the stormwater plan to the state, they reminded us that part of this MS4 permit is the requirement for these ordinances. Those who've been here for a while know that the same thing happened the last time that the state had their stormwater stuff. We had litter control ordinances, and we had don't feed the pigeon ordinances, and there's a lot of ordinances that we have that we never use, but they were required to do in order to maintain the permits. Well, the two that they're currently telling us we have to do is one, dealing with privately owned salt storage, which in effect means, and Janet's going to add that to the business license applications, to ask a business, do you store salt on your site? So that if we adopt this ordinance, we have to regulate to ensure that they're storing it properly so that the rain doesn't wash the salt into the storm sewers, so on. So the state is saying, you municipality have to be the enforcement agencies for this stuff. And so that's that one piece which probably is doable. The other one, and I see my friends out here from Shade Tree Commission, this tree removal replacement ordinance is a much more complicated and difficult to deal with ordinance, but as I read it, I believe that it's really aimed mostly at development, where a developer is coming before the Joint Land Use Board, and in order to build a warehouse, they want to clear, 20 acres of trees and how that's done. But technically, it also applies to any live, healthy tree that is removed for any purpose by the municipality or by a homeowner, because they want to put pool there, or they want to have more space, or it's providing too much shade or not enough shade. And it deals with having to enforce replacement trees. And so it's a much more complicated kind of thing, so I sent that out to you. I don't know what the answers are, I'm just a process person, but theoretically, if we don't adopt these ordinances to the satisfaction of DEP, theoretically, they will revoke or not continue to give us the MS4 stormwater license. Same thing as if Terry doesn't send in those maps in that plan, we just, we're on their S list. So what happens because of it, I don't know, and there's 500 and some municipalities that are probably having the same discussion with their governing bodies, because I don't think anyone paid much attention to this part of the change in these regulations. So I'm bringing it to your attention. You guys will probably have to figure out who's going to have this discussion and who's going to be involved. It'll probably take as long as it took to get the sign ordinance in there, and maybe it'll get the same traction as the ordinance dealing with the electric power stuff that,
Are these model ordinances?
these are model ordinances.
So we just adopt?
No, it's not quite so
Yeah,
simple.
it's not quite that simple.
May I just add something?
Oh, please, Tom.
So I painfully sat through an hour and a half discussion last Tuesday night in Riverton about the same issue.
Okay, Tom, just pull that mic a little bit closer to you.
So the state has started to send out reminders, hey, we haven't seen you adopt these ordinances, okay? I don't know how far they'll go to withhold funding or stormwater permits. The dilemma in the towns that we represent right now is how can we, in good faith, tell a homeowner that has a certain caliber of tree that they have to come and get a permit to cut down a tree on their own property? So towns are now taking the model ordinance. I would encourage you to send it off to your Shade Tree Commission, let them chew on it. And most towns are adopting a watered-down version that is very liberal in letting the homeowner not putting their feet to the fire when it's a certain caliber size tree. I haven't seen any towns just verbatim adopt the current ordinance that the state suggests that you adopt.
Suggests that they're twisting your arm.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, you gotta pick up the pace. That respectfully. Thank you.
What else we got, Rich?
That's all I got.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Rich?
Well, I have a question that I guess it has to do with the grant, the tree grant, and someone had approached me to see that, you know, they're gonna replace all these dead trees, and if they do, could they put gator bags on them? What would the additional cost be? Could shade tree, you know, take on that cost? But when they replace all these dead trees, they still have to be watered. And if they had a gator bag, it certainly would make more sense. It would be a lot easier to water them, right, Bill? Because we can't have Bill Madalevitz carting water out to these trees. And of course, the contractor said it's cheaper for him to just replace them than to send a water tank here to water them, even though that's his responsibility. So when they replace them next year, I mean, I think we should look into having gator bags on them.
So they're replacing them in the fall.
Right.
The only issue with the water bags is they have to be refilled like every 2 weeks. So
Right.
somebody has to be responsible.
But it's
for that.
better than watering the tree every 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So, I mean, I think somehow we need to look into that. And I don't know if I should send an email to Shade Tree to see if it's something in the budget, how much money is it? Does the state provide for that? But somebody should have thought about that, because the watering issue is going to come into effect again next year if we have the same kind of summer, because it takes so long for these trees to establish. I mean, I just put 3 trees on my property and I have to water them. Well, right now I don't have to water them today.
Not at all.
So I mean, we need to look into that. And I would hope Shade Tree would look into that, or somebody would contact me. Bill, maybe you and I can talk about it, see what can be done? Okay. All right, I just wanted to bring that up since we were talking about trees.
So I guess a follow-up question. They're going to replace the dead trees, so do we get another 2 years on these trees?
No.
Or
No.
this is it?
I think it's 1 year.
Whatever's left.
So
Time period.
these trees, they gotta live, because otherwise we're losing all this money from the state.
So that's why it's important that we make sure that there's a watering mechanism in effect.
Right.
And if we have these gator bags, it's a lot easier to fill them every so often than,
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have an obligation to taxpayers since the
Yeah.
township approved this grant.
Well,
That we have to take
without
over
fail.
now since Shade Tree isn't, so we have to make sure.
so, yeah, so.
I'm just
we-
looking on Amazon here, a 4-pack of those gator bags, $45. We need a lot
Yeah,
more
but
than 4.
I'm sure like if you got, how many, 100, 200, how many trees, 200? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're only replacing like 50 of them, so.
10-pack, $104.
So they would be the 50 that we would need, the ones they're replacing.
Right.
The other ones will be established.
There's some more that died, I'm sure you saw that, so I'm upping my count to 50
Yeah, okay.
at least.
All right, so we'll look into that and find out what the cost would be. But it's something, it's a shame we didn't consider that at the time. All right, I'll
All right.
check with Bill.
Thank you, Kate. All right, continuing clockwise around the room, Lieutenant Warren.
Hello, everyone. We obviously have given a conditional offer to an applicant, Tanji Gumis, and he passed all the required testing. So Chief Tilger took him out to get fitted for his academy uniforms. All pertinent information was sent to the academy, so he's scheduled to start August 5th. We have one officer now who, Chris Orff, he's scheduled to finish his last phase of FTO next Thursday, so he's done very well. Patrolman Kearns is in his first phase, he's doing well also, so we're looking pretty good in that regard. We also recently, as did Matt Bartlett, we received a letter from the mayor in Pensauken thanking us. We sent an officer to respond to a civil unrest they had about a month ago. So he sent us a letter just thanking us for, they actually requested pretty much any department in Burlington County to
Right,
respond.
yeah.
So we have
some
someone
letter.
to
Like an
send.
SOS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So we sent an officer, but he was thankful. When
That was nice. Yeah, we got a
nice
copy of that
letter,
letter, it was
yeah.
nice.
So, but other than that, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Good.
Pretty light.
Thank you, Basil. Mr. Fenimore, you haven't had much to do the last couple of weeks, right?
Really quiet.
Don't use the Q word, never use the Q
We
word.
went from a public works to a tree department. We've been quite busy. We picked up 132 cubic yards chipped up brush. That's probably one of our biggest brush stops that we've had since I've been here. We cut all the township properties 4 times. We took out the soccer benches, out the Field of Dreams, the tables and all down at the columns. I got the electrical cabinet door fixed. I had the guy that, he's got a special welder to weld that, and he fixed that for us, which was
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, the sprinkler bumps.
We put up the speed bumps there, and they're really a speed bump, I'm telling you.
Yep.
You gotta be careful there.
John, do me a favor.
Yeah.
They are very effective.
They are like going into
You gotta
Living
be careful
Springs.
there.
You're going into Living Springs on Park, yeah, that's what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you really have to go to like
you
5 and under.
Well, that's the point.
Try driving a piece of fire apparatus in there. We really feel.
The only thing we didn't get there, we put the ballards up. Delran had 3 or 4 ballards, and we brought them, instead of going and buying 4 for the handicap out at the Field of Dreams, we got them, cleaned them up, and they look new. So we saved some money there. We're having a little bit of trouble trying to drive the holes in for the signs because the ground is so hard. But it should be good now, hopefully. So if you don't see 2 signs there.
If not, it will be after this week.
Yep. We had so many trees, you know, the last storm we had was out at West Avenue, and we had quite a bit of trees that went down across the path. Well, I went up this time and nothing, but there was probably 30 out of the Hawk Island.
Hawk Island, yeah.
And they went both ways along the road, across the road. I mean, from the beginning of the gate all the way to the point. They were down, but I got them cleared, and did you see the note from Paul Newman?
Yeah.
What?
He's on a job.
I know what you're talking about.
I didn't see
Well,
it.
I think he wants to be some kind of communicator, so he can go out
from last
and,
month. Okay.
so I don't know how we could ever do that, but I think, because they were breaking glass, and he was worried about all the kids, the
Yeah.
families come there.
He just sent
Did
an
you see the
email.
picture by
I
any
don't know if
chance?
you got it.
No.
He sent an email of all the trash, like apparently they're picking up some of the trash and they're leaving others, but there was a lot of broken glass, and nobody's picking up the broken glass. He just sent a picture out, I guess yesterday. Was it
Yeah.
yesterday or today? Yeah, I got it. And I know we're trying to put trash receptacles out there, but I don't know how we can continually do that. But apparently they had a cleanup crew out there doing something, and they weren't picking up the broken glass, I guess for fear that,
We've been picking trash up. There's been some bags out there.
yeah.
And then where he, did you see the picture where he wants us to put the cans?
He drew a little map.
Well, I mean, he put this little pole in about this high off the ground, you know, instead of showing it, and then put a circle or something, you know? But I had to look all over, and I did find them, so.
Did you find him? Yeah.
I'm just gonna put some old yellow recycling buckets for now,
Okay.
because if I put new ones out there, they'll be going down the hill. So,
Can you forward along those photos?
Yeah, I will.
we replaced 2 signs at Newton's Landing. I started to pile the leaves up. Last time I had a guy come in and he went through the leaves with the machine, and they're ready to go now. I'll just pile them. It'll probably be about 40 piles. Just never seems to end on them. We cut 2 residential properties for the zoning department. And also we're getting a price, this last week we started getting the price for the water tank. And you can get all kinds of prices, all kinds of sizes, and I figured between 100 and 200, we'll put it on the back of the pickup where we can take it on and off with forklifts or whatever. We'll be able to get, and I want to get powered one. So if we need to go out and supply water to, one of our pumps that, for power washing, we can do it. We can have access to that, so that'll help us.
We're filling gator bags.
Any water trees?
Would you be able to would you be able to fill gator bags or something?
Absolutely.
Good.
That's what's for.
But I mean, to get a smaller, like, you gotta get at least 100 or 200 because you're.
Oh, yeah.
We
I
drain
mean-
right through it real quick.
Yeah, and some of these trees really need a good drowning, they gotta, because this been just too dry,
Yeah.
unbelievable dry. So, and that's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much for all the work you
Yeah.
and your department have done over the last week. I know I've been out there with you and the guys, and it's just mind-boggling how much trees came down. I was.
After that storm, then there was another little storm.
Right.
And I've been here a long time, and I just when I think I see every tree that it fell. Some of these trees, Vic Victorino's house on Pennsylvania Avenue, it's probably the biggest flowering pear that we have. Well, it looked like somebody had just ripped right off of the base of the tree. And if you look inside of it, you study it a little bit, you see how punky it is. And I don't know how it didn't go down any sooner than it did. But there was 2 trees that were like that. And it just surprised you how long that they can stay up. But I mean, and this went all the way across the street and went on the railroad property. I mean, it was a big tree. It's probably was the biggest flowering pear.
And some of the ones that went down, those are perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
Just the amount of wind, like the one we were out at on Delaware Ave and Walnut.
Well,
where you saw that how twisted that tree was.
And the one by next to 719, where another one,
right,
where that was rotted all the way up.
That was rotted,
but it was to the back kind of.
And you would
the
never
problem
be able to
cutting that. The reason we had a little problem cutting that is because it was all filled with dirt, and people were putting trash in there. So
in
I
the tree.
did it with my chainsaw the first time, and then I know there's a problem. Once you hit it, and there's something inside, or grew around metal. But it was filled up with dirt. Good looking soil, and it's all from the ants.
Yeah, the ants, yeah.
They just devastate.
That's a big deal to
Is that in front of the statue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing with that tree?
It's down now.
The whole tree's gone?
I took it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I gotta get back to do the stump. I just, was doing other things that day and then try to just get it down and.
It's not like you have brush pickup or anything to do.
Yeah, thanks for coming out on a Sunday night and everything else.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's nice having 2 young guys.
That's good.
Good job, Harry and Brian.
It's very nice to have
Yeah.
2 young guys. And when they come in from working and they shake their head, then,
They were
you
going
ain't
good.
you're having fun now.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Anyone have anything else for John?
Yeah, but thank you, John, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I think the park closed signs that you guys put up in FOD, one of them blew right out.
Oh, it ripped completely off of that post.
It's too big of a sign.
They weren't made of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just needs a different amount.
Like a metal backing or something like that. That wind, it just treated it like a sail.
Yeah.
This wind's been just terrible.
I know, a tree fell on my house. I've seen the wind.
And the one tree that I've been waiting for about 20 years has not fell down
That's so
yet.
dead. It's dead dirty.
And that was hitting lightning, and 20 feet down, it's hollow on the backside. It's 100 feet tall, and it still hasn't fell.
You just jinxed yourself. Thank you, John. Janice.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
All right. Township Committee, I'll start to my immediate right, Mr. Olet.
Let's see, the history board was out at the farm fair last week and had a display set up for Delanco. And what I heard, the storm that came through some of the materials got blown around in the tent, but sounded like otherwise than that, it was a success.
I wish we could bet on the history fair always being the hottest week of the year, because it literally is.
It is.
The hottest week of the year, always.
Yeah.
I blame them.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yes, let's see. Disa Del Riv. Tryouts are continuing for the travel softball team, which is called the Riverdale Rebels. Ball soccer registration is open until August 1, and registration is open for the upcoming basketball program for 2024-25. They're always in need of someone to work the concession, so please check out their website and sign up. If you want to know what's happening, be sure to check their weekly newsletter. It's it's filled with all kinds of things. I think Sabre does a great job. And their next meeting is tomorrow night here at 7:30. Backyard hens. Suzanne and I met with a resident on June 29th for final inspection for her installation and for her hens. So now we have 4. She has been officially approved and paperwork has been submitted to the township. She has 3 hens. The board met on July 2nd here to discuss the process, required documents, and complaints. It was nice to hear from the members discussing their hens. They talk about them like we talk about our cats and dogs. So it's interesting for me. It's a lot of work, and once they realize, when they review our ordinance, because we did have somebody who was interested, and when we sent them the information and he looked into the course, he decided that it was too much work to have them. So we really have a good program, and people aren't just going to do it for the heck of it. Letters are going to be sent out if we receive complaints. I only received 1 complaint so far that we thought was legitimate. I sent a letter out, and they said they didn't have any hens, so no further action was required on that one. Sewer Authority, we met on July 9th, and the trunk line project has been completed. The project should be closed out in the next month or 2. There's still some paperwork to be completed. The work at the pump station is progressing. The emergency backup pump and the submersible pumps have been delivered. Starting today, there will be a bypass pump outside the pump station until roughly August 16th while the work's being completed. The contractor was installing some temporary fencing around the manhole and pump equipment, and barricades, traffic drums, and cones will be set up for safety. 989 Coopertown Road is showing activity, and ERI is waiting for the results of the administrative review to inspect the drain. So I'm not sure how far along that is, Janice. Because you had noticed too that there was activity out there, and did they come in for an administrative review or something? Because that was mentioned at our sewer meeting.
Yes, they have been in for administrative review. There were a few things missing from that packet, so we are waiting for that. Ed Ruggiano is waiting for that. They do have to get with sewer. I don't know where they're at with their sewer obligations.
There's a drain in there that we had concerns about.
Yeah.
Ben wants to get in and inspect that.
And they have to submit a more complete narrative on their operation for their administrative review packet. So we're waiting for that, but they are getting things done to get that administrative review packet completed.
Okay, good.
Those for 989, Kate?
Yeah.
989, yeah, 989. And Stylex, there's no new update, and the office operator's report is on file. Waterfront Historic Park. I just wanted to note this for public record, that I was reviewing my paperwork. I showed it to Carolyn tonight. The first stabilization preliminary plans, Harry, do you remember these? They were dated in 2008, and the first waterfront development permit was sent in 2009 from land development. I think you worked with Dave Denton then. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how long this township has been working on the waterfront at Zerbrook. So when I was going through that file, I was reviewing a lot of stuff to see if I could purge anything, and I said, oh my God, look at this, that long, that many years, it's incredible. But anyway, I did want to let you know that, 16 years later, progress has definitely been finally made. So government does move slow. But the Township Committee, we met out there on July 3rd at 8 o'clock for a photo shoot to officially document the start of the construction that will become a beautiful park, hopefully the spring of 2025. And the History Board, I wanted to mention that the open house was not held this month because they were at the farm fair. But the next open house will be here August 17th from 1 to 3. And I wanted to mention again that the display in the cabinet out there is my decoy collection from my grandfather who lived in Delanco on the Delaware River in a houseboat he built. So I hope some people come out and take note. I have several books that he's been written up in and other members of the township as well. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kate. Carolyn, what you been up to?
Not much. Recreation did not meet this month, neither did Joint Land Use Board. So it was a good time for me to take a vacation because nothing was really happening. So,
Welcome back to the
States.
Welcome back to the States. I'm sure you and Al are very well rested, perhaps.
We did lots of European research on how their governments work, and I brought back all sorts of ideas for us.
You're not expensing your vacation to us. Thank you.
I tried.
Thank you, Carolyn. All right. Let's see. Since last update on June 24th, first and foremost, like the other members of the committee, we all attended the funeral mass for Elio Canagliario, otherwise known as Vinny, as everyone calls him. And without exaggerating, there were well over 500 people there, plus many more viewing online from home. And this just goes to show how much he was loved by our community and how much he will be terribly missed. And our prayers continue to go out to his family as they move through their new normal of without him physically being present here, but he's always going to be with us all forever.
Right.
I attended the Fire Commission meeting on June 25th. Normal business occurred. I had the privilege of conducting a wedding ceremony on July 5th. I've been doing daily visits to the seawall construction site. It's just fun watching how fast these guys just work and accurately get the job done. And they're definitely moving faster than the entire permitting process. Like Kate said, government doesn't move quick. These guys do. The contractors do, especially when they want to get paid. So they're doing an awesome job out there. And like I said earlier, with the 100-degree heat, they were out there like nothing last week, just getting the work done. So it's moving on great speed and ahead of schedule, which is always nice.
Just on that, I've been working with Scott Taylor just to get the fence quote. He has received that for the material, and then he's going to price out the labor, so he is working on that actively. I'm staying on top of him so we can get that fabricated. It's going to be about 19 inches. Stainless steel is like over 100 grand, so we're going to go with the aluminum, which is about 35 right now, just for materials, including the stamp from the engineer and all that. So it's being worked on.
You made those calls from Italy, right?
I worked on my vacations. My vacations are always working vacations.
Al's shaking his head yes.
Yeah, so
Great.
Show must go on.
Absolutely. I visited the Field of Dreams site this weekend to check the progress of the field lighting, as Harry talked about. Looks to be moving good as all the conduits in there and the equipment out there, so that's nice. July 8th, I attended our monthly project management meeting with Harry and Richard to discuss all of the ongoing projects we have in town. July 10th, I attended the pre-construction meeting here for the Field of Dreams lighting. And like I said, I visited the site this weekend, and July 10th, I also interviewed, along with Janice and Richard, our proposed CFO that is on the agenda this evening to bring on, who will be replacing the retired Bob Hudnall, who left us last month. As I mentioned, I was out with Mr. Fenimore a lot during the last couple of weeks with all the storms, and also with my hat on as emergency management coordinator. We were busy. The fire department, we got 15 calls for service during the last storm, and we were all over the place. We had 4 pieces of apparatus all throughout town, blocking intersections, making things safe, and it was crazy to say the least. And as we've seen, the majority of it was centered along the Walnut Street corridor, all the way from the river, all the way down to the creek. I'd say within a 2-block radius, or 2 blocks on either side of Walnut Street is where the majority of the storm went. And I think by John seeing nothing down at West Avenue, that's probably an accurate statement. So, again, nice job to John and his crew, and of course our fire department for responding out there. And finally, I attended the Board of Ed meeting on July 17th. The new principal for Pearson School, Ramon Santiago, was introduced. He comes to Delanco from Amesport, where he was the 5th through 8th grade principal and director of curriculum for the district. And he sounds like he will be a terrific asset for our district. That being said, I am disappointed that besides the board members and some teachers in the district, not one soul from the public was present. And I get that it's summer, I get people are on vacations, but it's no different really than the rest of the year. The same people who complain about things going on or not going on in the district are the same people who don't come out to find out exactly what's going on. So I'd really like to see more people coming out to those meetings and coming out to these meetings. But I'll get off my soapbox for now on that matter. That's all I have to report for this month.
Thank you, Matt, for keeping the public updated with all the OEM notifications and storm notifications. I think everybody appreciates the communication, so.
You're quite welcome, and sometime in between then I slept.
Yeah,
Not much.
I want to thank you too for the video for the new principal
Oh,
that
yes.
you've posted. I thought that was really helpful because I was unable to make the meeting, but it was really good. And I think you're right. I think he's going to be a great addition to the school system. It seems like
100%. He has a long history, over 20 years in education, and just from him talking, for those who didn't see the video, he likes to get hands-on. He said you won't see him in his office unless he's on the phone. He'll be going through the school, doing whatever principals do in the building, interacting with the children.
That's great, yeah.
Which is exactly what we need, and it's nice to see the district starting to shape up again. So hands off to our interim superintendent, and of course our Board of Education members. Thank you all. We will now go to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Does anybody on committee have any questions or need anything pulled from the consent agenda before I read them?
No. No.
Okay, all right.
You're good.
This is a long one. Ordinance 2024-18, an ordinance amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Delanco, governing streets and sidewalks, at Article 3, governing driveways. This is the first reading by title only, and we're going to set the public hearing date for August 5th, 2024. Ordinance 2024-19, amending the Township Code at Chapter 197, governing Hawk Island, first reading by title only, and set public hearing date for August 5th, 2024. Ordinance 2024-20, an ordinance amending Chapter 110 of the Code of the Township of Delanco, governing zoning, at Article 3, Section 17, governing signs, first reading by title only, and set public hearing date for August 19th, 2024. Resolution 2024-103, resolution of the Township of Delanco in the County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, appointing temporary entry-level law enforcement officer under the alternate route hiring process. Resolution 2024-104, resolution appointing treasurer and chief municipal finance officer pursuant to NJSA 40A:9-140.10 and NJSA 40A:9-140.13 at SEEK. Resolution 2024-105, resolution authorizing the execution of a contract renewing membership in the Burlington County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 2024-106, awarding a contract with Fabritrack for acoustical panels. Resolution 2024-107, awarding a contract for stormwater pipe replacement project at 719 Delaware Avenue. Resolution 2024-108, authorizing a change order number 1 for the Field of Dreams field lighting project. Resolution 2024-109, disposal of out-of-service office equipment. Resolution 2024-110, resolution certifying liens against certain properties for the costs incurred by the township in accordance with Chapter 135 of the Township Code. Payment of bills, current fund, $1,024,638.77. Payroll, $275,699.47. Capital fund, $107,822.80. Escrow trust fund, $14,624.75. Housing trust, $140. Approval of minutes from June 24th, 2024. Approval of business licenses 2024-18, 2024-21, and 2024-46. Can I have a motion, please, for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Great. Motion by Carolyn, second by Kate to approve the consent agenda. Roll call, please.
And Mayor, for the record, on those 3 ordinances that were introduced tonight, 18, 19, and 20, the public hearing for all of them is 7 p.m. So that minutes will reflect that they will be on those dates at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Roll call.
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes.
And Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. And approval of minutes June 10th, 2024. I imagine somebody was absent that day and can't vote?
Me.
I'll abstain.
Those
No,
you- Okay.
I think that Ms. Fitzpatrick and
I was
Mr.
out on the 10th.
10th, and Mr. Olet, you were out. And with Mr. Templeton out, we'll need to actually carry these to the August 5th for
Okay.
approval. We don't have, only you and Ms. Seuss can vote on that, so we'll need to carry that to the 5th.
All right. And I must say, when our consent agenda is really long and I have a lot of stuff to read, it's because we're getting a lot of stuff done. Same thing with all the other ordinances. We're up to ordinance
20?
And how many do we normally have, Janice? Because you yelled at me last week about the publishing costs for the bills, because we're getting stuff done.
We usually averaged 15 to 18 ordinances per year. I mean, some years we've had quite a few, particularly when there's land use being revamped and things, but it's usually 15 to 18 ordinances, and we're in July and you're on 20 already, so my publication budget is shot.
We'll up it for next year, because it's gonna keep happening.
Because we're getting
A lot of activity with this
job
committee.
done.
Very good. Do we have any correspondence, Janice?
I have none, thank you.
All right. Meeting is now open to the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 2. Again, if you have any comments or questions, step up to the podium and give your name and address for the record, Mr. Weber.
Here he comes.
Couple things. One of our owners, who happens to be a civil engineer, retired, he's questioning why the township's not putting in tar on the cracks in the macadam, because it would save it from the water truck going in and causing it to break up even farther. That was my first thing.
I know nothing about that sort of thing. Mr. Fox, do you?
He's right. The crack sealing can extend road life considerably. Looking into doing something like that.
Yeah, I think we just talked about that recently.
I'm just bringing it up.
We did it out there. We did it out at the Field of Dreams parking lot for a while. We did it here.
And just for that, I'm sorry, Ray, just for the benefit of the record, just give your name.
My name is Ray Weber, 22 ships.
I was going to give it for you. I thought 20 ships, but 22.
22 ships.
All right.
Second thing deals with Lieutenant Warren and police. this morning. South Jersey Driving School and DMV. Both of them came down and did U-turns at Emory and Newton's Landing Boulevard. They're still doing it.
Okay. And you're telling me now, at 9:04.
I was on my way to a doctor's appointment. I didn't have time to call and that kind of thing.
But that does nothing.
I understand that, but what happens is you could go to the DMV and complain to them.
We've already told them, right? You know that.
They've
I
sent them out.
understand.
Here's the thing, here's the thing. We can't be any and everywhere.
I understand that.
Chief and I sat out there last week because we got the issue with the speeding.
Yeah.
We put the digital sign out there.
Yeah.
And when I sat out there in increments for 3 straight days, no driving schools came through. Nobody sped through either. Guys were in there, if you want me, I can provide you the incidents. We have officers conducting property checks throughout your development 24 hours a day. We make notification on that through Central, and we document the same. But if telling me now, we constantly tell people, it's the same for you. Put your phone on the speaker and call, let us know, because then we can get them in the act. We've told DMV. DMV, they're not going to necessarily enforce that because they can't. Because they can't control the driving schools.
They could control the DMV guys, because the DMV guy was one of the gentlemen who did it.
It was a DMV
It's a
employee
DMV
inside the car?
employee Inside the car, because he had the yellowish orange vest on, and he had his pad there.
That doesn't mean he was the DMV employee, right? That means he's works for a company.
There was 2 vehicles. South Jersey was the first one. That was just the South Jersey Driving School.
And what was the other one?
It was a homeowner's car with the DMV guy sitting in the passenger.
Because the problem with what people have been doing, we explained this to the council before, we have people privately giving lessons. So they'll literally take a magnetic sticker, put it on their own personal vehicle, and they're giving driving tests.
Yeah.
And then they'll go finish their testing, or just the practice, if you will. And then they'll go and let them take the driving test at the DMV. But again, telling me at 9, I guess, because now obviously we'll tell the guys to continue to patrol here, but there's not much we can do right now. It's not anything.
I understand. I'm just letting you guys know that I had this conversation with Adam before.
And he
I
told you the
him
same
what's
thing.
going on. He's told me the same thing. I'm just saying it's still happening. Even though you guys were out there, I know you guys.
And the signs are
out there. There was 2 guys out there yesterday afternoon, and both of them, one was sitting on Newton's Landing in Wilson, I think it is, which is over the townhouses, and another one was sitting up on Creek Road, waiting for somebody to come down through. And they were out.
I mean, we have the signs there,
I know, you got the
all
sign
points.
there. But I'm just saying, this is what I'm saying myself, and stuff like that, but we've been trying to do it. They're not obeying, no U-turn signs. All I'm letting you guys know is it's still not working, but we'll have, you guys can't be everywhere every time.
And again, we could try, but I mean, you gotta look at it from perspective, as you heard earlier,
Yeah.
we were talking about as far as the survey. With that survey, majority of our accidents are people just disobeying signs.
I understand.
Because they're doing any and everything else but paying attention to the road.
I know.
Now, this here, obviously, they're willfully, because there's 2 signs, as you know, that come in and say there's no U-turns. Yet still, they go and give up the U-turns. Because it's what people do. So if we can get them, obviously, we're gonna cite them. You know, but they're in there, they're sitting in there, but they can't sit in there for the whole duration of the shift.
I understand.
That's why, like I said, it's more beneficial when something happens, you tell us then, we can send a guy over, because now, oh, South Jersey, there's only one South Jersey car over here, come here, so we're gonna have a conversation. But tomorrow, there could be a South Jersey driving car there, but it may not be the one that was there today. So, you gotta let us know what's happening.
The other thing deals with what Tom brought up about the trees and stuff. What happens is, in Newton's Landing, in fact, it was July 10th, we had 4 trees taken down because they were dead. The trees are dying, so we're taking them down. Because they're a hazard to people and to vehicles, because 2 of them were right next to parking, and right next to our parking lot. One of them was back over by, I think, telephone pole and wires, on the backside behind Ship's Way and Old Creek Road, as I will call it.
Right.
Back in there. These trees are coming dying, we're just taking them down, because we're worried about the liability. Thank goodness we took down the tree on Wolverton in Newton's Landing a little over a year ago, because that tree would have came down, because when we cut it down, 95% of it was hollow inside. And it was dead, but people wanted to keep it on the safe side, and that's one thing we're always looking at is on the safe side. So, with the township and with the state coming up with these ordinances and telling the township they gotta do all these ordinances and stuff, they gotta get their heads out of their wherever. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Lieutenant Warren, on Ray's point about the cars going around the U-turns, can they make a civil complaint to the police department against that?
Absolutely.
So if they're a witness, they can give you a tag number and
Absolutely.
make a complaint against that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But like I said, the goal would be, which, like, we want to know. that
Oh, yeah, the goal is to
we're
call.
active, because more than likely, they're practicing to go take the test.
Yeah.
So they're still going to be in the vicinity.
Right.
Because lately, what they've been doing, a lot of their schools actually been using the parking lots next door. As well as up the road a little bit. And as well as the rink skate parking lots. But yeah, Chief and I, we took turns. Like, oh, you sit out for a little bit, I'll sit out for a little bit. You can see, as well as the guys making their normal passes. But yeah, now DMV, we went through and we spoke to them, and they advised me again. They don't oversee the school, so they just made notification. Hey, listen, if you keep doing that, you're going to get cited by the police. So they go, oh, okay.
But I'll just say, what an epic failure by these driving schools having their students
conduct an illegal turn.
Conduct an illegal turn.
Water practice.
I'm pretty sure they'll get a mark on their driving, about fail, they'll get a mark on their driving test if they did that. But then again, seeing a lot of the drivers out here,
Teach them,
they may just pass.
Absolutely. Just complete disregard of the sign.
So do you have the digital sign out there for the speeding right now?
No, well, I'm not sure if it's still there now. Is it still there? Okay. Because usually we try to keep it for a week or two, depending. But because I think, when was that, Wednesday? Last Wednesday, you made those speeches? So we had to put it out the next day.
Is it earmarked for anything else in the next week or two? Can we put it at that intersection and put no U-turn there?
There's signs there.
I
The
know,
sign's right
but
there.
maybe the digital sign will get more, maybe the digital sign will be flashing in their face.
Whenever
I don't
it's
know.
free, it should be back on Rancocas Avenue, because the boaters that come down there, it's amazing how they turn that corner onto Rancocas, and they are definitely going 40 by the time they reach the marina.
We're putting it back.
It's crazy,
need a speed
and,
bump.
yeah, we need a speed
You need a
bump.
Field of Dreams speed bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're going to go back to.
We're gonna mount
Okay.
one of those signs right in front of your house.
Yes.
Permanently installed.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I'll
it's just
take
going
it.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we put a temporary speed bump on that way? During the summer?
Be great. You could put it right in front of my house.
We need to do anything to do this?
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, because then they're stopping and
You'd be
bumping.
there now all
All night
day
long.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's with the boats.
Hear them boats going across that?
Yeah.
Call John, will you take it
We're moving about 100 feet up, right, Fern?
You're right, the Fern's house.
Put it in front of her.
Well, put it in front of Fern's house. Now,
Closer to
it
Burlington Ave.
yeah, it needs to be right around the turn, like right beyond Ostrowski's, a little bit beyond, because it's, I don't know how people can get that kind of speed, but there's a fellow that lives right on that street, on Rancocas, and he gets in his car, and I'm telling you, he's just like 2 houses before me, and he's gone 40 by the time he reaches the corner, and his car makes such a noise. It's amazing. I was standing out there the other day, and I thought, how? And called the police. By the time I called the police, he's gone. He's already around the corner.
He burns rubber going around.
He does, yeah.
Again, civil complaint, give them the follow
Yeah,
your
maybe. I hate to do that to my neighbor, though.
Speed bump.
Speed bump.
Speed bump.
Speed bump. That's okay.
So even if we put it out there,
Put it right in front of his house.
temporarily for like,
Yeah,
a
June to
month.
September.
Yeah.
So that might not be a bad thing to look into. We could take a look at amending
Do
your
we need
ordinance.
do we need an ordinance or resolution or something?
Temporary speed bumps.
Well, it's.
An engineering written opinion?
Like,
it's
do
not
something
encouraged to put temporary speed.
temporary, would,
All residential.
you don't encourage it?
We'd have to look at that.
Permanent?
Oh, really?
Well, I wouldn't recommend a permanent because then we're getting into plowing issues, right, John?
It would be a speed bump, but that, no. we
Not in the
could-
winter.
No.
We remove it.
Yeah, intentionally or not.
Yeah.
Do we have any other members of the public who want to ask anything while we have this open? Nothing?
Good.
Cindy, you're good? Sure. All right.
Eh.
Then we will close this public session. I'm very tired. Discussion items, we don't have anything. I don't think we need another executive session, I tried to say.
Session?
Yeah.
And I'm not even 6 hours behind time like
I
you
am.
are. Can I have a motion to adjourn, pretty please?
Yes,
So moved.
so moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming out, everyone.
Thank you, sir.